Welcome back to the Broad Street Benchwarmers podcast. My name is Adam Den. Ethan Lividitis is here with me as always. Michael Cormos, unfortunately, unable to join us. He's having fun at the beach, but he will be back soon. But we are coming to you on a draft week. I mean, we're preparing, for what should be an absolutely stacked draft. So we figured we'd just come on and, talk a little bit about our draft boards and, how we're projecting these players for the future, and then give our reactions later. I don't know if we're going to attach that or put it separate. I don't know, but we'll see about that. But I mean, to start, as we enter a new 2021-2022 league year, I guess it is. That sounds crazy to say. We just wanted to congratulate the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah. Finally, Giannis got his ring.
Yep.
I was wearing my jersey, but probably can wear my Raps one during the draft. I didn't want to wear it for this just because,
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was super fun.
Yep.
So proud of Giannis. I mean, that Suns team, I don't know if they're going to be able to repeat that, to be honest. But congratulations to them for getting that far, too. I didn't even think they would get that far. And hopefully we get some more parity in the league and not more like another Cavs Warriors nonsense. I'm glad for Chris Middleton, for Bud. Bud got a ring. It's crazy. Brook Lopez, he's gone through so much in New Jersey and then Brooklyn and then LA and now Milwaukee. And all these veterans like PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday. It's a great team. And I hope they can replicate this and just have Giannis get more rings because, I'm a Giannis fan, so I'm not complaining at all. So,
yeah, I mean, totally agreed. I mean, as the man who said Bucks and 6, for them to have, the physical dominance that they showed over the last 4 games of that series and just, Giannis truly cementing his legacy as, I mean, not only a future Hall of Famer, but possibly, one of the 20 best players in the league someday when he finishes up his career, was honestly just, I mean, an amazing thing to see. And, I really enjoyed these finals. Phoenix, I agree with you, not, that Western Conference loaded for the future. But, I mean, I think we got to see just really their young stars, I mean, evolve throughout this series too. And, we'll see the future with Chris Paul. That's something that's going to be incredibly interesting as well. So, yeah, congrats to Milwaukee for sure. But to start right off here, I think, how are we doing this? We're just
we're just going to go through a lottery, I guess.
Yep. Counting down the lottery. Our favorite players in this draft, our least favorite players in this draft, that will probably be drafted here. So we can start with Cade Cunningham. 22 points per game. I like him too. It's the kind of pick, at number 1 where, I mean, it's not going to be the Zion or the generational talent this year, but Cade Cunningham could definitely be a fringe all-star for the future. And I mean, you look at, his size and what he can do at the guard position, with his ability to create not only an open space, but in full offense, and, his ability to finish at the rim defensively. I mean, he's fantastic as well. So just really a complete package. Needs to work on his jumper a little bit. But, I mean, my comparison was Melo Ball, who showed, I wasn't too high on last year, but showed so much improvement with his jumper throughout the season. I think Cade's coming in with a little more of that. Shot 41.2% from 3 throughout the college basketball season. But yeah, I'm just really excited for this guy for the future. And apparently he's already been drafted to the Pistons. Thanks, Woj.
Yeah. Well, we're recording this a little bit before, so there might be some movement. But I'm pretty sure top 3 have already been spoiled by Woj. But yeah, I really like Cade Cunningham. I think a good comparison with LaMelo because, their passing is so cool. But just throwing it across the court. Like the no looks, I think his playmaking could definitely help. I know that team's not going to be good. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Killian. I like Jeremy Grant, but he's not going to take them over the top. I think he's definitely a good centerpiece for this team that has not had a
Yeah.
superstar in a long time.
Yeah. No, I think Killian could. I think this is a guard combination that could fit, especially with what Killian does defensively. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's capable of playing the 2 guard. I think it just, you are sacrificing some of his playmaking for Caves, which I think I'm fine with.
Yes, go plus.
Honestly. Yeah. So do we want to go number 2 on the big board or number 2 in our mock?
We'll go number 2
That's
on the
where I get
mock. I don't
confused.
really have a big board.
Okay. So number 2, I think both unanimously are going to say Jalen Green.
Yeah.
Straight from the G League Unite, averaging 17.9 points per game, shooting 36.5% from 3, 2.8 assists. Jalen Green is not the most exciting prospect.
He'll be a highly player. That's about the most you'll get out of him.
Yeah.
He's just gonna bounce. He'll be on House of Highlights until the day we die, and that's about all. He'll be a fun player to watch in doses, but he's probably not gonna be a. I mean, he could improve defensively. He'll probably have a decent amount of skills just because of his speed and athleticism. But I don't know. I mean, for a number 2 pick, it's not great.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he'll still be a decent enough player and will add some spark. He's definitely a spark. That's basically all of his game.
And I mean that Houston team is perfect for him to fit
Yeah.
into. I mean, just for their pure lack of a scorer like that. And I mean, there's still pieces there. We forget that Christian Wood and his rim rolling ability. I look forward to the two of them playing together. Him learning from John Wall, especially with his jumper that seemed to be, somewhat stuck throughout the entire G League season. So even though, he seems to just be, a volume scorer and not an efficient one at that, there's definitely room for development. And I would compare him to an early career Zach LaVine.
I was thinking him or like Ant Edwards, just a slasher, just pure slasher.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I saw when I was doing my research, I saw videos there. He has Vince Carter athleticism.
I don't know if anyone has Vince Carter athleticism.
Yeah. I mean, as a UNC fan, I kind of hurt. I like Jalen Green. He'll be fun, but he's not gonna give you the all around game like Cade Cunningham or like some other guys that we're gonna mention later. But I mean, there's not really much you can do. It's a pretty top heavy class, and he's kind of just like stuck in the middle. There's a lot of name recognition with these guys. Like if in 2 or 3 years, you can be like, how was this guy after that high? But I like Jalen Green. I'm not. This makes me sound like I despise him, but it'll be fun to watch.
I mean, it's definitely not exciting, especially when literally the player we're gonna talk about next is a way more exciting player.
Yeah, incredible.
No, it just doesn't. It's just not the right fit. And the player we're referring to is, of course, Evan Mobley, who seems to be drafted by the Cavs at number 3. Green, of course, to the Rockets. Averaged 16.8 points per game and 8.6 assists at USC. And I'm incredibly excited by Evan Mobley.
Yeah,
we talk about on this podcast. I talk about it all the time. Probably too much. The switching centers and how this league is so geared towards the kind of big men that are able to switch onto guards and guard all 5 positions and not just be the rim rolling center. And Evan Mobley can do all that. He's 7'1" and incredibly agile. The weight thing could be a problem for the future, but that's something the NBA can easily handle. He's a solid mid-range shooter, a great at the rim, great post-up option. And, just incredibly exciting player and a huge piece for any NBA team for the future.
Yeah, probably the most exciting thing for me, I know he's a great shot blocker, great rim protector. He has a great touch on the inside. I think the most interesting thing for me is his ball handling because, there's less than a handful of big men you can say or that play like him. The closest thing we come to is Bam, and he's a little undersized for a center, so it's kind of hard. He's kind of like a player of his own. I think when you see Giannis bring the ball up, you're like, are you serious? But Mobley could probably do that, and the Cavs team is kind of like a mess. And I totally think he could coexist with Jerry Allen because they're very different molds of center.
Yeah, I think so. I think the spacing thing is definitely going to be interesting.
The thing would make it weird, but I think the play styles would balance off in a way that wouldn't make it like a total disaster.
Yeah,
And considering that like basically everybody on the team is on the trade block at this point, like they could
yeah,
still throw
exactly.
around him, so like it's
I mean, we
fine.
don't even know if they're gonna re-sign Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, he's kind of on the cusp right now. But I mean, either way, that's so exciting, especially for the young guards in Cleveland, just to have that in their building.
Yeah.
So number 4, I think Toronto. I think unanimously we have Jalen Suggs.
Yep.
Out of Gonzaga, 14.3 points per game, 35% for three, 4.5 assists. Just a really, really solid guard. I mean, there's not much else to say. He was a great playmaker at Gonzaga. I mean, not a fantastic shooter, but he wasn't the number one option. Wasn't getting the same, I mean, he wasn't the first option on that team. Had that incredible shot, which really, I mean, almost boosted his draft stock by a lot against UCLA. But yeah, just a really solid player all around, and you really can't go wrong, especially with how talented as a guard he is.
Yeah, I mean, he offers enough defensively where I think it'll be fine to play him alongside Fred VanVleet. And notice how I didn't say Kyle Lowry because I mean, he's probably a really good replacement for him because he has similar enough play style. He's good enough two-way. He's great. He's a great finisher. But it's something that definitely balances well against Fred VanVleet's shooting. So I mean, for a team that won the finals less than 3 years ago, I think it's really impressive for them to get a lottery pick and just get a. I wouldn't say it's impressive, but it's definitely helps them for the future to get a guard of his caliber because it's very rare that you can get players like him. When you're still basically going to be a playoff team next year. So
yeah, and I mean, the injuries that they sustained. I mean, I know there's definitely going to be a lot of pieces in and out. I don't know what they're going to do with this Ben Simmons thing, whether they're even going to be picking here. I mean, this is definitely, a question. But when you can get a guy like Suggs, who I compare to Karis LeVert, with, like you said, his defensive instincts and his shot-making ability, that's definitely something that they can look forward to for the future. And Van Fleet's pretty young too, isn't he? He's like 26, 27, so it's a young backcourt. Yeah, definitely look forward to that. So number 5 here, I think I have Scotty Barnes.
Yes, so do I. I don't know.
Yeah.
They have 2. They have 5 and 8. So I mean, we can swap these around, so it doesn't really matter. But
yeah,
I think it's a decent enough pick.
Yeah. No, I think so too. I mean, Scotty Barnes, an incredible defender. The shot definitely needs, I mean, a little bit of work. I mean, everything offensively definitely needs a little bit of work as far as efficiency. But just one of those great wing defenders, that we have guys like we talked about in the finals, like Jay Crowder and guys like, Mikal Bridges. Yeah, just, the kind of guys that you want on your team as 3-and-D guys. Those are some of the most valued players in basketball. And if he can develop that shot a tiny bit more, especially with the defensive instincts he has already, that's just terrifying for the future.
Yep. All right, so number 6, the Thunder. They're supposed to have 1 trillion picks. I mean, they have some down the board, but
yeah,
I don't know. This is a weird spot.
Our man, James Buchner.
Yeah, James Buchner.
Yeah,
that's what I said. This is working out, so I don't have to argue about this.
Yep.
Just get it over with.
19 points per game. Shot only 31% from the field. There's an injury history, which is a little bit of a worry. Apparently had something with his Achilles in high school. There's an elbow injury, which occurred a couple months ago, took him out of a couple games. But I mean, you just look at this guy's defensive instincts for his size, just incredible. His ability to finish at the rim, his IQ as a guard, playing off ball. He is just an absolutely fantastic basketball player. Great hustle guy. He's just, I mean, he's awesome.
I mean, I haven't done a ton of research on him, but I know he's a good defender. I think that would definitely complement Shea well. I mean, him and Lou Dort, that would be so much fun. See some nice defensive-minded wings. So, I mean, if they make the value out of their later picks, or you use them to trade up and keep their pick right here, I think they could definitely come out of the draft with some good value for the future.
Yeah, no, totally. And I mean, we can talk about the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander trade talks and how ridiculous they are, but it seems like they're still getting definitely good value here, even without having, maybe the Cade Cunningham star to move forward throughout this draft. There's definitely more chances, even if Boot Knight does not work out. So at number 7,
7, yeah.
yeah. Do we want
This
to say
might be where
Kuminga here?
Kuminga goes. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where it goes a little south. I have Franz Wagner, but we can talk about Kuminga here.
Yeah, Kuminga, I think he might be the most. I don't want to say overhyped, but but as far as name recognition, there's like, oh, Jonathan Kuminga, oh, he's a top 5 prospect, but when you look at the tape, he's not really jumping out to you. I think his athleticism definitely carries his game. He definitely can change in the league if he has the right coaching around him and right players. But I mean, Golden State, it's kind of difficult to pinpoint where they want to go because they still have like locked guys in their lineup. Like Draymond's gonna stay, Clay, Steph, and the Wiseman, so you can't really go center again. And especially with how they handled Wiseman, it's not really sure what to do with them. So I guess but to say Kuminga because they just need as much, I guess, young talent as possible because let's say if Jordan Poole is Kelly Oubre still on the team for as long
Yeah.
as he will be. Yeah, like I think they should just go quote unquote BPA. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I do think he is the most talented player available. 15 points per game in the G League, 6 assists. He's just so athletic. I mean, his ability, his finishing ability. I mean, his vertical. I mean, he is just incredible to watch at times. But the shot is not there defensively. I mean, at times he's just looked completely lost, especially on ball. I mean, against fellow wings. And it was the G League, so again with him and Green, it's going to be a little harder to judge just because they are playing against pros versus these guys who are playing as college kids. But I mean, it does seem like kind of a Cam Reddish situation from 3 years
Yeah,
ago, and that worked out. But it is somewhat of a risk, and I think Golden State though is in the position to take it. I gave them Wagner just because I thought if it's somebody who's going to be playing against with Draymond, maybe you want more of a shooter
yeah,
next to him. But I think best player available. I mean, thinking about it now is probably the better option.
yeah,
And my comparison was Anthony Edwards for him.
yeah. I'm just thinking of like driving wings like wall bang or like I
Yeah,
know there's some sites that Jeff Green. I'm like, sure, you can take Jeff Green. I don't care.
yeah,
Yeah, let's
a
just
little
move
big.
on.
Yeah,
The Magic from Chicago. I had
yeah,
my Chicago jersey on during the reaction, and they got nothing because they traded for Vucevic. So I mean, I think this is a good Davion Mitchell spot because I
yeah,
mean their guard play is a little lackluster. Cole Anthony, UNC legend, of course, I love him, but he's not a starting caliber point guard on a great team. And Josh Grady's not going to start in 90% of NBA teams, so I think you just need to get the most. I think he has great basketball IQ. He has a good shot. And obviously, was the heart and soul of that Baylor team. So I mean, there's not really you can't really go wrong here. Like you can go with Moses Moody or Chris Duarte. Or I just say just go best guard available because you already got Scotty Barnes in this situation who could play like a 3 and the 4. So yeah,
yeah. I mean, I think these three guys, Mitchell, Kuminga, and Book Knight, I mean, are so grouped together in talent. And I honestly could see Mitchell going a lot higher. Just because, I mean, he's got, I mean, a lot. His playmaking ability is absolutely incredible. I mean, we're talking about, I mean, a Drew Holiday level defender coming out of
yeah,
college on the other end. His jump shot has gotten so much better across the past year in comparison to the year before. And I mean, we're talking about a guy on a national championship team. He is a little old. I mean, I know the NBA tends to worry about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's so much talent there, and I would compare him to like Mike Conley.
Yeah.
Coming out right now. So yeah, I am definitely incredibly excited, especially would be for what he could do in Orlando, and I think I would not be surprised if he got drafted there if he would ended up being starting point guard right away. So yeah.
Okay, I think is this 10? No, this is 9.
Okay.
Sacramento. I think I gave him Franz Wagner just because I think they have too many guards, like revolving door guards with Halliburton. I guess you can count Buddy Hield and De'Aaron Fox. And definitely need a wing that can shoot after you lost Bogdanovich to Atlanta. I mean, Harrison Barnes on the team because it's not like he's providing that much. So I mean, I think you just need as much shooting as you can get, and just gotta get a.
Harrison Barnes had a solid year.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes had a decent enough year, but I think just because of that contract and same thing with Buddy Hield, I think he could replace either of them in the Kings lineup. So again, you still have to go BPA because that Kings team has been out of the playoffs for I want to say like 15 years. So that's probably just don't mess it up. Don't blow it like always. Just let me think. Georgios Papagiannis, lottery pick.
Oh no. Hey, they had
Greek legend.
We can give them some credit. I'm gonna give them Kai Jones here. Power forward out of Texas. Just his athleticism for his size is absolutely incredible. His post up ability, and is a solid defender on the other end. I mean, he's more of a traditional big man at the power forward position, but I think he can be an easy plug in for Bagley, who seems to be struggling throughout his NBA career. Yeah. And, I think he could definitely be a very, very solid piece for them as a pick and roll partner for De'Aaron Fox and just, providing some defensive spark for a team that was not great on that end last year. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, number 10, Memphis. I think I said Josh Giddey. He's a fun player. Yeah. He's tall. Can pass the ball well. He can shoot the ball when he can. He can dunk when he wants to, and one of the highlights he fell on his face. So I don't know if he should do that. But, I mean, I think they definitely need a nice guard / wing. I mean, yeah, just outside of Dylan Brooks, because I mean, I really could have praised Grayson Allen. I'm not going to praise Grayson Allen as a UNC fan, but once we got the top 5, it kind of gets a little muddy, and this is basically the starting point. We could say that with the Kings pick, but yeah, this is where it gets But I mean, Gay's a fun player. He'll be decent enough.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been good for Team Australia throughout the Olympics. I think he's putting up like 10 or 8 points per game there as well. 11 in Australia where he was playing, and I mean, just had a really good run at the end of the season. He's one of those, oversized guards that are, now becoming kind of the model. We talk about that with Cade Cunningham as well, kind of the Ben Simmons model, but I mean, obviously these guys can shoot, kind of. But yeah, I mean, Giddey, I think, can be a solid, maybe off the bench piece. I won't pretend I've watched the dude a ton, and have a ton of tape, but I would compare DeJounte Murray. Would be my comparison for what I've saw.
Tall guard who can defend decently enough. They can play make.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's what you got at the back of the ladder. Like it's not terrible. DeJounte Murray's fun.
That's the way the league is moving. So I mean, it's still solid, I would say.
No, okay. Charlotte is weird. This is probably the hardest pick for me, which is weird. Like Charlotte, but I think because there's so many forwards like PJ Washington and Miles Bridges, you kind of just get up. It was weird for me to put Kai Jones here, but I mean, I did just because that's kind of where he fell. And I think they couldn't really get a guard because they already have Devontae Graham, Mateo Rozier, and the ball. I mean, the center play isn't good either, so you might as well just get Kai Jones. he is another lob threat for LaMelo, but I mean, you can have as many lob threats as you want because I mean, it seems to work. So I'm not. It's not like I've watched a ton of him either. So yeah.
No, I'm kind of debating on this one. I wrote Franz Wagner, but I mean, like you said, with the Bridges fit, I just don't know if there's space. So I think I might change this one for me, to Corey Kispert, who's really the best, kind of forward who can somewhat fit within that Charlotte offense, at the 4 position left. And I mean, there's not much to say about Kispert. He's performed incredibly for Gonzaga throughout their championship run. Overall, I mean, just kind of he's athletic enough, not a great shot creator at all. Okay defender. I mean, I'm not incredibly high on him at all, but I can see a lot of NBA teams being with the success that he had throughout March Madness.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
I mean, that's all some of these teams need. And I won't pretend Charlotte's front office,
yeah, geniuses.
is
We
above
had a
that.
video with Michael Jordan early on,
Yeah,
so we know how bad it is. I mean,
yeah,
Spurs got Kispert for me, which is the next pick. So
yeah.
kind of said what I had to say for me. So yeah, you can say what you want, I guess.
For San Antonio, this is tough. This is very tough
because they've gotten Devin Vassell, they've gotten Keldon Johnson, they've gotten all these wings and like tall guards like DeJounte Murray. It's kind of like hard. I guess they could go with the big, but I don't know.
I think I'm gonna go Wagner here. I just feel like
yeah, he's a very
just
Spurs
a shooting
pick.
presence. Yeah, it's a very Spurs pick, and just with his shooting presence and offense has struggled so much with that last year, and with Rudy Gay slowly winding down in his career. I think he could be an easy plug-in after Gay retires. Just what he is currently. My comparison for him, I think was like a taller Bogdanovich. I think that's what I said. So yeah, just overall pretty solid.
Yeah. Okay, 13. I mean, the Pacers have a lot of work to do off the bench. So I guess I just gave him Moses Moody. I like him. I like his shot. I like it. I love two-way guards. So might as well mock him here because I mean, you don't really know what's going on with Karras and Brogdon. They've always been they're trading for Ben Simmons. But I think they do need some like two-way help off the bench because like is Aaron Holiday is like $6 million of the year potential? I don't think so. and I know Moses Moody had a bad March Madness, but I think what he showed in the regular season is good enough for him to be like a late lottery pick. That's basically where we are at right now.
No, I gave them Cam Thomas, just because I felt like again with offenses that have kind of struggled from deep, and just just struggled to get any kind of premier scorer offensively. I mean, Sabonis being there, and them losing
TJ Warren for decent.
TJ Warren, and probably maybe won't be there to start this season with that surgery. So I gave them Cam Thomas just for a volume scorer. Just a guy who can get to the rim. He's not a great defender yet. He doesn't have the instincts. But this is just a dude who can flat out play. I mean, offensively. And I mean, it's incredible to watch at times, just, his ability to create. And I mean, he's not going to be the most efficient, but he will get you buckets. And that's all you can ask for. So
okay, we're at the back of the lottery now. The Warriors also, we said they needed as much bench help as possible. I think we both said Chris Duarte from Oregon. He can shoot the kill off the ball. That's what they need.
Yep.
So
that's pretty much. Just another 3-and-D guy. I compared him to Evan Fournier,
Yeah, I said prime Danny Green, which makes Sixers fans be like, what? And like,
Danny Green?
Yeah, was there for exactly. But we'll post our reactions later. And as always, sorry, Harry Roseman. Yeah. See ya.
Fire Ben Simmons. Thank you.